Hello, everybody. How's it going? We're back with the Sunday Chat with Dare, or whatever you want to call it. We'll find a real name. We'll also find a real background because I'm actually gonna be rearranging soon. I'm getting a new desk. Yeah, new desk. It's actually a solid desk, so I might even be able to put my G27 on the desk and not be sitting like all the way back here while I'm driving, because that's difficult to drive like that. Last week we talked about gaming and the world of gaming, mods, and GTA 5. This week we're talking about not gaming, in a gaming sort of way, on a gaming channel. Yeah, there's plenty of gaming news going on, but we're going to ignore that right now. The reason we're going to ignore that is here in the United States, starting on Monday after this goes live, is National Anxiety and Depression Awareness Week. And I figured that we need to actually discuss it because in many cases, people hide it, especially Americans and men. Okay, there's a reason why. Okay, here in the United States, the perception is you need to put forth a happy face at all time. You must always be happy in the public, all the time. We can't be sad. And that's weird and disturbing in many, many ways. When I go over to Europe, especially the areas of the Netherlands and Belgium, Luxembourg, France, that kind of area, you don't see people walking around all the time smiling and being very happy. No, they're just going about their lives. Here in the United States, we have to smile at everybody. We have to always be happy. We get that societal pressure to always be happy, and that creates a real problem. One, for people with anxiety, people who have a serious anxiety issue around a lot of humans, they're not going to smile. They're busy fighting not to scream. And people who are depressed feel more depressed because they're not happy, because everybody else is happy, but I'm not happy. That's a problem. Additionally, why is it men? Well, because societally, in Western culture, and especially the United States, Canada, the UK, I see this as well, the idea of we are men, we must be strong, we must never shed a tear, we must never be sad, we must never do anything but be the breadwinner, provider, Superman, rah. It's a load of crap. We all have emotions, all of us. And if you can't believe in your emotions, if you can't express yourself properly, you're going to suffer for it. And people do suffer for it, especially men. About 5.2% of men, give or take, actually suffer from major depression, self-report suffering from major depression, according to the National Institute of Health and the National Institute of Mental Health. But that number is low because about 20% don't respond to the mental health survey. And the reason is because we can never show weakness. Must never show weakness. That's a bad thing. We got that from the British. Thanks a lot, British. Appreciate that. Yeah, I got a stiff upper lip. Stiff. Must always be stiff. Could you have sent somebody who's not so weird? I mean, seriously. We really don't need the stiff upper lip. I'm kidding. It's cute. Before you all yell at me, it's cute. But also seriously, men and boys, young men, boys, grown men, it's pushed upon us, not just in society, but in movies and television, that we have to be unemotional. That's a problem. You need to be able to be emotional. If you're mad, you need to be mad within the reason of not hurting anybody. You need to be able to be mad. If you're sad, you need to be able to be sad. The whole boys don't cry, okay? That's a load of, yeah, you can put the bleep right there, okay? That's a load of it. If you're sad, you're sad. If you cry, you cry. It boggles my mind when somebody's dog dies. I know, boys don't cry. Well, that dog was his best friend, so yeah, he's going to cry. Let him cry. It happens. Anxiety is another problem. Anxiety is an issue that you see a lot amongst gamers, because why? Well, most of us, when we're gamers, we're gaming because we can hide from society. We have an anxiety. Many people have an anxiety of some sort. Some of us don't like large crowds. I will raise my hand and say right now, I hate large crowds. I hate large crowds. I hate it. And when I'm in a large crowd, PAX is ridiculously difficult for me. Ridiculously difficult. It stresses me out. It increases my heart rate. It makes me irritable because I can't respond to the amount of stuff coming at me in the way I want to respond. And so I get angry. And then I know it's stupid to be angry. So then I get mad at myself. And then I feel sad that I'm being mad at myself and it becomes a spiral of, if you don't catch it, a spiral down into what could be depression. Now, luckily, I recognize that I have this problem and I can respond to this problem. Usually by saying, okay, I've been here long enough. Let's leave and go somewhere where it's quiet, where I can just decompress and center myself and then go back in and deal with the craziness. Again, why am I telling you this? Well, because one, you shouldn't be ashamed if you have anxiety. If you have a social anxiety, you shouldn't be ashamed. If you feeling sad, you might not be depressed. We have the serious issue of self-diagnosing in this country. Like, I can't tell you how many people say, oh, I've got OCD. You don't have OCD. You don't. You just don't. End of story. Like, the people who have OCD, I know somebody who has OCD, it's a serious problem. Okay, just saying, oh, I've got OCD because you didn't plow that field straight. Well, whatever. Go on. Okay, so stop the self-diagnose. But if you seriously are feeling sad and you can't shake that feeling of sadness, here's the big thing. Americans, you have to seek help. You can't self-medicate by alcohol. Guess what? That people do that. That's common. Self-medication by alcohol is probably the number one thing that people that feel depressed or anxious do. In Colorado and Washington D.C. now, then some of them self-medicate with marijuana, which doesn't help the case at all. Drug use is high because you feel like it gives you an up or whatever. Seek real help. You can't always do it by yourself. Some people can, but they're rare. There's a game, or was a game, I don't know if it's even around anymore. It was caused this whole issue on the whole Tumblr thing. They call it Gamergate. The game is called Depression Quest. The game is not so much a game, so much as a construct of what would happen if you're extremely depressed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link in my description to a video done by Enter Elysium last year for the UK version of Anxiety and Depression Week. And he played through it and he put himself into it because he has anxiety. He's discussed it on Twitter. He's public about it. And that things that can help him and the things that can help you. If you're anxious, if you have a societal anxiety, you're probably a heavy gamer. Well, welcome to the club. But you still have to get out there. When you sit in your room and play your games, you don't meet people that can turn out to be awesome people. How did I meet my wife? I met my wife through gaming. It's simple as that. Depression can destroy you. Don't let it destroy you. Yeah, this is a gaming channel, but many of us suffer from various mental health disorders. And especially in the United States, we feel like we can't do anything about it. Well, you can. There's free resources for you that you can use, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, whether it's sexual dystopia, or disorientation, which is where you don't understand who you are sexually, and that's well beyond the scope of anxiety and depression, but it's a serious issue in this country as well. All these things you can get free help for, and I'll put some links in the description if you need them. Totally click on them. Go and make use of these resources. I'll try to find some for the UK and Canada as well. I can't promise you guys in the UK and Canada I'll do a very good job of that, but I'll try. Australia I'll try also, but again, I don't know. It's Anxiety and Depression Week. If you don't have anxiety and you don't have depression, count yourself lucky. Be happy, but also be understanding of people who do. Because not everybody lives a perfect life. In fact, nobody lives a perfect life. If you see somebody sad, then console them. Don't laugh at them. That's being a jerk. And you know what jerks deserve? Jerks deserve to be flung, to have bananas flung at them by a pack of rabid gibbons who ran out of their poo. Because flinging poo is weird and disgusting. You shouldn't do it. Unless you are a gibbon. In a gibbon fight. In that case, that's fine. If you're a gibbon in a gibbon fight. That's a different story. All right, that's it for me talking about anxiety and depression. Next week, we'll talk about something else. It might be game-related, it might not be. But hopefully you think about the fact that many people, in fact, 6.9% of Americans suffer from depression. 8.4% of females, 5.2% of males who self-report. 20% of people on average don't even self-report. And it's very high. In fact, 8.9% of 18 to 25-year-olds have depression. It's actually a pretty serious issue in this country. Anxiety is followed right behind it. There's so many different kinds of anxiety that covers a huge spectrum, well beyond what I can even talk about, because I'm not a doctor. Thank goodness, because you don't want me to be a doctor. It'd be a little bit like asking Stocko to be a fireman. There you go. Things to think about. I'm gonna go research gibbon poo fights or something. No, I'm not. No. Bananas. I'm gonna research bananas. That's a thing.